Welcome back to the third and final segment of the Loveland Report, the Lone Ranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's best real estate planner. Alongside the Lone Ranger, we've been talking about real estate planning. We've been talking about how rates are slowly settling down.
They got it better this week.
You know what's going up, which is good? Rents are going up.
If I find that interesting that we're
slightly. They were flat going down for a little bit last year. And I've been able to raise them again, because you look at that market just like you do when you're selling or buying. If you got 50 on your street or in your neighborhood for rent, you got to be, a good buy.
Yep.
So tenants still look around at that too. So, but if you have any problems you're having problems collecting rent, you're a landlord, somebody having a nightmare story, bad tenant at a property, let me know. I will take care of that for you. But Bruce, I want to dive into, all your different programs. You've got so much stuff.
So you asked me about my doctor program.
You got to, well, that was, I don't know if we did that on the air. What's the doctor program?
So is a physician program. If you're a physician or coming out of medical school, a lot of you struggle because you have overloaded student loans. So we have a forgiveness program where we don't use the same formula that Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac or Ginnie Mae for HUD use to count student loans. So it's a different formula. It's also zero down payment.
Mm-hmm.
No down payment, no PMI.
Wow.
No down payment, no PMI.
If you're a doctor.
Right?
I'm too old to go back to school, though.
So at up to $2 million with no money down. So It's a great program. It gives a physician a lot of flexibility. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I can help you out with that. What other program you want to know about?
DSCRs.
DSCRs, debt service coverage ratio, designed for investors that don't want to show their tax returns. And we know why, because you're not showing any income. That's fine. All I need is the income that's produced from the property that you're purchasing.
For $2,500.
If it's rents for $2,500, your payment's got to be $2,500 or less. If it rents for $3,000, your payment's got to be $3,000 or less.
And with that, and I've done the math on that backwards, and usually, so the down payment's usually still around 25 or 30,
25 to 30%.
25 to 30%.
I mean, sometimes
you want to cash flow a little.
You do want to, but you know what? Investors are not concerned about cash flow right now. I've been interviewing them right and left, and they're not as concerned about cash flow as you might think they would be, because they're looking at the future. So that's a DSCR. Bank statement program, self-employed, 12 months bank statements, no tax returns, 20% down, purchase, refi, either one. DSRs I can do refis on too.
Okay. So, and I've got somebody with a hard money loan right now on an investment property, thought they were going to flip it.
Yep.
It's going to go, they could turn that into a DSCR most likely.
They could turn it
They might
into
have to bring
a
some money
DSCR,
because they financed a lot.
Maybe not.
Okay.
Right. It all depends on after 6 months, that property then seasons, so I can use future value. Before 6 months, you have to use what they paid for it.
Okay. And then credit score counts on the DSCR.
Absolutely. Credit, because there is nothing
income
else.
Doesn't.
I don't use income other than the rental on the property.
I got a gentleman buying lots to build homes on.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do a construction perm then, right?
Very good. We can do a construction to perm, meaning, and we've got a one-time construction perm, one-time close. So you don't pay 2 closing costs. Most banks do the construction loan, and then when it's finished, you have to refinance it. So you're paying double the closing costs. My construction perm is one-time close. It closes before the ground's even broken. Done.
Now,
the appraisal's done based on plans and specs. I'll connect you with a builder. You can either include the land in the construction.
On those homes, prices are going to be in the 300s. He's doing these to buy the lot, build the home, and then sell them for investment. So this is an investment. So that's going to be how much down on the construction perm?
I can do investment construction perms. They're not designed for builders to turn around and flip, but I have specialty programs that I can find a program for darn near anything you want.
When you talked about the cannabis loan, I couldn't get that one because I would not test positive for THC.
I don't know. I don't even know how it works, but I know I was reading some of our programs.
We know that's big money. Yeah, that's big money.
Yeah. So we'll find out. I will let you on the air know if I'm actually able to pull off a cannabis loan for this company.
Well, I just think right now we're coming out of the Sleepy Joe hangover. We only had the Trumpster for 5 months now.
Yeah.
Isn't it great? I mean,
It's
so
unbelievable.
we got 40. I'm counting the months. I mean, we've got another 43
and
months.
the stock market's starting to improve slowly. The
We're
tariffs
getting
are getting under control.
better inflation news, which is what we
Inflation
want.
is lower now than it's been since February of 2021.
And actually, what we want to hear is the energy costs are down, inflation is down. Then you'll see mortgage rates improve.
Absolutely.
The Fed cutting the rate doesn't really help us.
I don't want the Fed to cut the rate.
Yeah, and right now we're looking at 2 months of no Fed cuts, according to the chart we use.
Let's stay away from Fed cuts.
Yep.
So, and I explained to you, our listeners are so much smarter than their friends because they understand. So most people would go, "Oh, we really want a Fed cut so interest rates get better." Interest rates on mortgages will get worse, not better.
And
because it stimulates the stock market, and that pulls the money out of the bond market.
Well, what's funny was March was a burst upwards in sales, and rates were still like high, just above 6.5%. And what's funny is it soaked up about 2 months of inventory. We were at like almost 7 months supply.
Yes.
With slow winter sales.
We went right into a buyer's
and all of a sudden,
market.
We flipped from a buyer's market to a seller's market on Central Florida in general. 2 months of inventory disappeared. Imagine if rates go down to 6.25.
If rates stayed at 6.25, we'd see a surge in the market. And here's the problem for all the first time home buyers or low down payment buyers. Right now is your very best opportunity because sellers are working deals. As soon as the rates drop, you're going to have more people jumping in. The inventory is going to go down, and sellers don't need to pay your closing costs because they got more people wanting to buy their house.
I got a couple people now buying before they sell.
Yes.
Talk about recasting real quick.
So recasting is a fabulous product to do. We can do it on most of our loans, conventional FHA. You can't do it on a VA. But what happens is you got a house you want to sell, but you don't want to sell it till you buy the new one. So we close on the new one. Then you get your old one ready to close. Then you want to dump a bunch of cash on this one. Well, if you paid a lump sum of cash on a mortgage, it just pays the mortgage off. It doesn't change the payment. But some people want to change the payment to reflect the new balance. And that's what a recast does. I've got recasts. If you want to recast, you need to talk to the loan arranger. 407-250-9144. Get your pen and paper out, write that down. Put me in your cell phone and save me in your cell phone. You're going to need me someday. 407-250-9144, or we bring you home.
I got a question for you on recasting, Bruce. Well, my phone number, if you need a real estate plan,
please,
407-352-8118. I'll be working all weekend. You'll get a live person calling you or talk to. But I want to ask you about recasting. You refied my primary house.
Yep.
About 5 years ago? No, about 4 years ago. Can I still recast that?
You have to ask my wife. My dates apparently my brain doesn't align.
But I mean, it's been 4 years since I got that new mortgage.
Yes.
Can I still recast that? I haven't done anything.
Of course.
I can.
Absolutely.
So I get a windfall. I get an extra 50, 100 grand. I could refi that.
You probably wouldn't want to do that because knowing you would buy another property, which is not a stupid thing to do.
I just bought my first one for the year. I've got 2 more lined up for June and July.
Yep.
So I'm buying and holding.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you want to make money, then get in real estate. Cleve and I'll show you. We're having a class on June 18th. Go to webringyouhome.com to register. Webringyouhome.com. Register. It's going to be on the 18th from 6:30 to 8. Don't bring the kids. I'll have food and drinks available. You're not going to get a sales pitch to join our club or buy our system. We're going to teach you everything you need to know about how to have success in real estate and retire with wealth.
And it doesn't matter how old you are. If you're 30 with your first home, 25 with your first home. I just met somebody the other day that their son was 22 and had bought his first home.
Well, if you buy a home in your 20s, you have a 70% greater chance on retiring as a millionaire.
Yep.
90% of the wealth in America is built through real estate. 90%.
If you're 60 or 70 years old, we can help you with planning. We had one gentleman that sold a big house, kids gone, widower, sold a 5,000 square footer, bought himself a new primary and 2 rentals. So for the income. And
Absolutely.
and I give everybody this information, Bruce, and I say, all right, look, this is where we're at. Go talk to your financial planner. And let's get together. Call me if he's got any questions, and we'll see what's best for you. Because I think the older you get, more your money should head towards the market and safe investments. I've got a landlord right now with 20 properties and only 100 grand in the bank,
right?
4 million in real estate, and only 100 grand in the bank. I said, we got to start harvesting some of these rentals. And so we're working on that and doing some 1031 exchanges.
I've got
and
a
working on
very
some things.
similar issue with a client right now that is very real estate equity rich, but they can't do what they want because it's all tied up in real estate.
That's the one thing about real estate. If it's rented or you've got it to flip, it's not liquid. You can't call the bank and say, hey, wire me 200 grand. Or give me 20 grand. I want to go on a nice 2-week cruise.
Everyone should have an equity
watch.
line of credit, at least on their primary. But here's the thing, and this is what I want you folks to really understand about Cleve and I, because we tell you that we're the people you should go to because you can trust us. But I'm going to tell you something. If we were just about us and the transactions that we do, and not about really being an advocate for you, then wouldn't we tell you to invest all your money in real estate? We don't want you to be too overloaded in real estate. You need a healthy balance. You've got to have money in the market and you've got to have money in real estate.
I think everybody should head towards, the younger you are, I think the equity, when you're young, 20s and 30s, the equity will be in your house. And you need to work towards having a 50-50 balance, 50% of your money in the market, 50% on real estate. But some people don't track their net worth.
No.
You and I have been involved. I've been tracking that for 25 years. I should have been doing it sooner. I'd be a lot better off, but you got to watch these things. Running your personal budget and your real estate plan is like you incorporated. You need to know that so you know when you can retire. So don't leave it up to the government, because who knows what's going to happen there.
If you want somebody that's really going to help you through this process, whether you're buying or refinancing, and by the way, I'm telling everybody, hold off on refinancing unless it's for debt consolidation or cash out. But rate and term refinance to lower your payment, get on my VIP list. Text 407-250-9144 for my VIP list. But listen, here's the thing. I think that the market is ripe for buyers right now. It's absolutely as perfect as it can possibly be, with the exception of interest rates. But the reason it's perfect is because interest rates are a little higher. If they were lower, the buyers aren't going to have that opportunity. But I want them to call you and I so that we can walk them through the process. Everyone out there can become a homeowner. We can help each and every one of you. You've got a team of people that will walk you through the process. And if you want to join our class, register now at webringyouhome.com for our Leapfrog investment class. It's not a first-time homebuyer class.
Yep.
You're not going to come here and get all kinds of information on first-time homebuyer programs. That you could be a first-time homebuyer and register for it, but you have to want to buy multiple properties.
Well, here's the thing.
With this program.
If they would just let you drive the bus. I've never had somebody that, in my 33 years in real estate, I've never had somebody that bought a house call me back 2 months later going, oh my God, I should have never done this.
No, I haven't
I've
either.
never had that happen.
And I'll tell you one thing. I promise you, you and I would never lead a client into the wrong direction to make a commission.
Well, if they don't qualify, and it's funny. First time buyers are like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. If you got them qualified, they can do it. Like you tell them like, no, you can't afford this, or no, this is all you can afford.
Of course I do.
Yeah. Because what's funny is I've had some.
I don't want you out looking for properties you can't qualify.
I know,
for.
And it's like I've had some people and they qualify for 350, and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't do this. I can't find anything at 300." I'm like, "Well, there might be a reason for that. Where you have to be, the type of house you want. But if Bruce qualifies you for 350, go back to Bruce and talk to him again. Maybe there's something you can eliminate where you can qualify for a little more.
100%. When you come to me, if you said, "Oh, Bruce, 350 is not working. Can I get to 400?" Yeah,
you'll tell them what to do.
Right. Okay. We need to pay the car off, or we need to pay these credit cards off, or
we need to get your score up. Yeah, get your score up.
Or get your score up. Could be any number
of
things.
From mom and dad.
Could be, and tax refunds. So, look, we have everything you need right here. Unfortunately, we've hit the end of the show. So I want to thank Cleve. I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy weekend. But I want you to know that you can always call Cleve and I. He can be reached at 407-352-8118 or cleveloveland.com, or you can call the loan arranger, Bruce Woodburn, CrossCountry Mortgage, every loan program you could possibly need. I'm here to help you. I'm looking for quality loan officers right now. If you're looking for a position, I'd love to interview you. You can call me at 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. Listen to my show on Sundays at 11 o'clock, same station. Thanks for joining Cleve and I. Cleve, thanks again.
Have a great weekend, everybody.